Hi friends, welcome. Today, I'm going to share a story that might just touch your heart and maybe even restore your belief in pure love. It's not just about a dog. It's about loyalty, friendship, and a bond that defied time. It begins at a school. A class is having a presentation on the topic, My Hero. A boy named Ronnie walks up to the front. At first, no one takes him seriously because he says his hero is a dog named Hachiko. But what follows is a story that silences the entire room. Ronnie begins talking about his grandfather's dog and how this dog wasn't just a pet, but a legend. He starts the story with a monk who carries a puppy in his hands and couriers it to some address in a crate. But somewhere along the journey, the crate breaks. The puppy slips out and ends up lost at a busy train station. Scared and alone, it wanders around until it stops in front of a man named Parker. Parker tries to help. He takes the puppy to the station master, but he's told dogs aren't allowed. The puppy looks so helpless that Parker can't walk away. So he brings it home, just for the night. His wife isn't happy. She doesn't like animals. He keeps the dog in a separate room, but the puppy finds its way into his bedroom anyway. His wife yells, frustrated, but Parker calmly explains, "It's just a puppy. It's scared. It's lost." That night, the dog looks so sad. Parker makes a promise to find its owner. The next morning, his wife gives him a photo of the puppy and urges him to start looking and find the owner. She doesn't want a dog in the house. Not now. Not ever. Their daughter, Andy, walks in. She has the puppy, and instantly, it's love. She pets him and asks, "Can we keep him, Dad?" But her mom shuts it down. "No, Andy. He's not ours. We need to find his real home." Parker puts up lost dog notices, visits the town board, and even tries to leave the puppy at a shelter. But no one claims it. An employee at the shelter tells him this isn't a street dog, and the shelter's full. If no one comes forward in a week, he'll take the puppy himself. Still unsure what to do, Parker visits a bookstore, hoping someone there might want the dog. A woman named Mary adores the puppy, but she already has a cat, and it doesn't get along with other animals. Then Parker asks the hot dog vendor if he'd like a furry companion. He says no, and he visits station master and inquires that anyone came for the dog. He said, no one came for dog. So Parker takes the puppy to his workplace. He's a piano teacher, and the dog wanders cutely. Later, he visits a Japanese friend who tells him this puppy is a rare breed, an Akita. They look closely at its collar and notice a small tag. On it is the name Hachi. In Japanese, Hachi means 8, a lucky number. His friend smiles and says, "Did you find the dog?" Or, "Did the dog find you?" Parker said that. Dog found him, his friend tells. It wasn't a coincidence. Maybe it was fate. That day, something shifts. When he gets home, his wife is upset. The dog accidentally ruined her project. She yells. To avoid more trouble, Parker moves the dog to the storeroom for the night. But a heavy rainstorm hits. Thunder, wind. The puppy sits by the door, scared. Inside, Parker hears his wife complaining, but he also sees that scared little face through the window. He can't leave the puppy alone, so he picks him up and brings him back inside. Later that night, Parker sits on the couch, researching Akitas online. He learns something fascinating. The Akita was the first dog breed ever to be domesticated by humans, a symbol of loyalty and love in Japanese culture. The puppy cutely licking up his face, something clicks. This isn't just any dog. They end up watching TV together, sharing popcorn, and somewhere in between a movie and a quiet moment, Parker drifts off to sleep on the sofa. His wife walks in. She doesn't say anything, but for the first time, she really sees the dog. Not as a nuisance, but as a part of the family. And maybe even a little cute. The next day, Parker's outside with the puppy, now named Hachi. He tosses a ball, and Hachi stares at it like it's the most mysterious thing in the world. From the kitchen window, Parker's wife and daughter watch, smiling. For a moment, Parker looks like a boy again, laughing, playing carefree. Then the phone rings. It's animal control. They say they're ready to come pick up the dog. His wife watches Parker one more time, tossing the ball, laughing with Hachi. She hasn't seen him this happy in years. She turns back to the phone and quietly says, "Sorry, the dog's already been adopted." Then she hangs up. Years pass. Hachi grows up into a strong, beautiful dog. He and Parker become inseparable. Wherever Parker goes, Hachi follows, loyal, quiet, and always by his side. One morning, Hachi digs a hole under the fence and sneaks out. He walks straight to the train station. Parker's just boarded when he sees Hachi standing there, gets down, and, "Go home, boy," he sighs gently. But Hachi takes a few steps away, then turns back. The station master even delays the train to give Parker time to deal with his dog. But Parker smiles and says, "Let the train go." He brings Hachi back home and patches up the fence. As he's fixing it, his wife comes over. "Go," she says. "I'll watch Hachi." But Hachi stares at the fence, watching Parker leave. He doesn't bark. He doesn't move. He just waits. Later that day, the train horn sounds in the distance. Parker's train. Hachi perks up. Then, in a flash, he runs, leaps over the fence, and rushes to the station. The hot dog vendor watches as the dog bolts past him. When Parker steps off the train, Hachi jumps up in joy, tail wagging, heart full. Parker smiles and hugs him. "Has he been waiting here all day?" he asks. The vendor shrugs, smiling. No, he just got here, just in time." From that day on, a new routine begins. Every morning, Hachi walks Parker to the station. Every evening, he returns, just in time to welcome him back. Rain or shine, Hachi never misses a day. Later, Andy brings home someone special, Michael, the man she loves. Michael throws a ball for Hachi, expecting a typical dog reaction. But Hachi doesn't chase it. Parker, puzzled, asks his Japanese friend about it. The friend smiles and says Hachi will only respond to the one he truly trusts, the one he loves the most. The bond between Parker and Hachi keeps growing. Andy and Michael get married. Soon, Andy is pregnant. The whole family celebrates this new chapter, while the town continues to admire the quiet, beautiful bond between a man and his dog. But then, something unusual happens. One morning, Hachi hesitates. He doesn't want Parker to leave. Still, Parker heads off. But just a few minutes later, Hachi grabs his favorite ball, runs to the station, and surprises him. Parker laughs, touched by the gesture. He throws the ball. This time, for the first time ever, Hachi brings it back, and then does something he's never done before. He hugs Parker, tightly, as if he knows something no one else does. Parker hugs him back, overwhelmed. It's a moment of pure love. But later that same day, everything changed. The heartbreaking news came. Parker had passed away suddenly from a heart attack. No warning, no goodbye, just gone. But Hachi didn't know. As the evening train pulled into the station, just like every day, Hachi sat by the door, ears perked, eyes searching. But Parker didn't come. The doors closed. The station emptied. Still, Hachi waited. Night fell. Cold winds swept through the platform. But he didn't move. He just kept looking at the door, believing, hoping. Eventually, Michael found him. He tried to bring Hachi home. The dog followed, but his eyes told the truth. He didn't want to be anywhere else. His heart was still waiting. The next day, at Parker's funeral, the grief was heavy. But for Hachi, it wasn't confusion. It was longing. He slipped away quietly and returned to the place where he always waited, the station. He sat there, staring at the doors, hoping for that familiar face. But never came. The station master, gentle and kind, knelt beside him. He spoke softly, trying to help Hachi understand. But how do you explain to a heart that refuses to forget? After the funeral, Parker's wife left town, heartbroken. They took Hachi with them, thinking he needed a new start. But Hachi wasn't looking for a new home. He was still looking for Parker. One day, when Michael returned home, the door was open, and Hachi was gone. He ran for miles, driven by something stronger than instinct, memory. He made his way back to the place that meant everything, Parker's home. But when he arrived, strangers lived there. The home he remembered was no longer his. The one he waited for was no longer there. Hachi didn't cry. He didn't bark. He simply turned around and walked back to the station. People watched in silence as he settled into his old spot, the place where love had once arrived with every train. Andy and Michael came after him. Andy knelt beside Hachi and tried to reason with him. She told him the truth. that her father wasn't coming back, that he didn't need to wait anymore. But when she looked into Hachi's eyes, she stopped. Because sometimes words can't touch the kind of pain that lives in silence. So she opened the gate and let him go. Hachi made the long journey again, back to the same place, back to the same spot, where he waited again and again and again. He slept beneath the platform. He watched every train. He wandered the town. And every time he saw another dog walking beside its owner, his heart ached. But he kept waiting. Soon, the people in the town began to notice. The hot dog vendor left him scraps. The station master left him water. And little by little, the town embraced him. He wasn't just a dog anymore. He was Hachi, a symbol of love that never gave up. One day, a reporter heard the story. He came to interview the station master, who simply said, "He's still waiting. He waits every day." The story was published. People from across the country were moved. Donations poured in, money for food, care, and warmth. Years passed, and still, Hachi waited. Through snow, rain, heat, and time itself, he never stopped. He grew older, slower. His fur turned gray, but his heart stayed the same. One day, Parker's Japanese friend stumbled upon the article about Hachi's devotion. Touched deeply, he traveled to the station, memories flooding back. He knew what it was like to lose someone you love. He met the vendor and offered to help, money, food, anything. But the vendor smiled and said, "Hachi already has a fan base. We take care of him. He is one of us." Sometime later, Parker's wife returned to town with that same friend. They went to visit Parker's grave, and afterward, he brought her to the station. She hadn't expected what she saw. There, curled up in the same spot he'd always waited, was Hachi. Old, weak, tired, but still waiting. Her heart shattered. She never knew, never imagined that Hachi had waited every single day since Parker was gone. Tears streamed down her face. She sat beside him, and for the first time, she waited too. Not for a train, but for a memory, for love. The story, as you might have guessed, wasn't just made up. It was told to Ronnie by his grandmother. And now, it was the 10th year since Parker had passed. 10 years. 10 long years of waiting. That night, Hachi lay down at his usual spot under the platform. The wind was soft. The station was quiet, and his eyes slowly closed. As he drifted into sleep, his mind replayed the moments. The ball in the yard, the walks to the station, the warmth of Parker's hand on his head, the smile, the bond. And in that peaceful moment, Parker came, not in a memory, not in a dream, but in the only place where time, loss, and distance no longer matter, the afterlife. Hachi had waited long enough. He was finally home. Ronnie finished telling the story. His voice trembled, and when he looked up, there were tears in every eye. Not just because of Hachi's loyalty, but because we've all loved someone like that. Ronnie smiled softly and said, "This story is real. Hachi was real, and in our town, there's a statue of him, forever standing by the station, waiting for Parker." And so, the story ends. A story of friendship, of loyalty, of love that waited a lifetime. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, give it a like, share it with someone you love. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that stay with you. Hug your pet today. They feel everything.